Good morning, good day, good afternoon, how you going? This is Roger Roadside saying hello. Listen, this is going to be a very quick one this morning. It's a beautiful day. I know you can see a lot of the road at the moment, but trust me, it is a beautiful day. It's blue, it's sunny, everyone's getting a little bit funny. Listen, this is going to be a quick one this morning, and usually, well, let me just ask the question first. The question is Britain weak? That is the question. Is Britain weak? And I mean that in every sense of the word. Have we, and I say we collectively, because I've been living here for the last, since 2010, so however many years that is, 16 years. And so, you know, I say we because even though I've got an Australian accent, I've been here for quite some time, right? Over the last 2 decades, or over the last 2 decades, I believe the governments that have been in charge of this shit show have siphoned so much money out of the defence systems and out of the defence that they've turned this country into a blubbering mess. And it's been dictated by so many, you know, human rights lawyers and this, that, and the other. The fact that, you know, America's got this president, which, you know, like him or not, you know, whether you hate him or whether you don't like him, I don't care, you know, whatever. You know, do I love everything that Trump does? No. Do I agree with everything that Trump says? No. Are there things that I like about Trump? Yes. I like that he's straightforward. I like that he's a leader. I like that he makes decisions and he pretty much, and you know, for all intents and purposes, he sticks with them. He comes out, he says what he's going to do, and he does it. And whether you like it or not is not the thing. If you don't like it, fine. Run for bloody president. Become a prime minister. Stop whinging and moaning about the fact that, he said that he's gone and done this. How dare he? Well, fuck off and go and run for Prime Minister yourself. Go and run for President. You go make the bloody decisions. You be responsible for millions and millions of people. It's just, I mean, it's not only Britain that's lost its backbone. It's not only Britain that's lost its backbone. Many Western countries have bloody lost their backbone because we've all become soft. We've all become jelly-backed. It's disgusting. It's disgraceful. And look, I'm not an advocate for war. I'm not an advocate for violence. I don't think particularly that it solves everything. But it does keep the peace. And unfortunately, you know, don't get me wrong, when I was younger, I went through life just thinking, can't we all just get along? What? We're all just humans. We're all just humans. If we all just, you know, if we all just say, all right, let's burn all of our weapons and let's just make a promise that we won't attack anyone, and then everyone will just live in peace for the rest of our lives, and we can go on and not worry about wars, and we can get rid of armies, and we can get rid of all these sorts of... It's never going to fucking happen. It's never going to happen. Not in our lifetime, not in the next decade, not in the next decades after that. There has always been situations where one tribe is upset with the other tribe. And, I mean, we've seen it with bloody Israel and Palestine. We've seen it with Ukraine and Russia. There are things that go back centuries, decades. Probably should have said decades first and then centuries, but you get what I mean. It's the more and more we go on, the more and more it's filtered down through generations that the other side, those people on the other side of that fence, you know, at some point in time, have played funny buggers with us. So that's why we don't like them, son. That's why we don't like them. And then his son will grow up And then he'll tell that same story to his son, and then his son will grow up and he'll tell that same story. And over all that time, the people on the other side of the fence, probably for the most part, will probably be all right. But there'll probably be, every now and again, it just takes one bad egg to do something wrong, and suddenly it refosters the hatred for that side. But listen, I'm going off topic. The question is Britain weak? We all know our defence force is fucked. There's more legal immigrants over here than what there is people in the armed services. That's a bloody scary thought, isn't it? There's more people here illegally that we know of than what's in the armed forces. Well, that's not a good start. And then we get our Prime Minister come out with his press conference that he came out with yesterday, and it was just terrible. And look, I don't know whether you like Keir Starmer. I don't know whether, and to be honest, a lot of my videos, and I'll say this off the bat, right? A lot of my videos have been, I don't want to sort of put my opinion forward because I don't think it's up to me to profess my opinion, because who am I? I'm just a person driving a car, fanging it about. Like I'm no one special. So what does my opinion matter? Does it? I don't want to influence anyone. But at the end of the day, there does come sometimes where I'll just have to say it the way that I see it, and the way that I see it is Sir Keir Starmer, the original bloody Dalek from Doctor Who series, is just a shit show. He's a weak jellyfish embedded in a moly human being's body. He's got no leadership qualities. He shouldn't be in that job. There's not one person in this country who I think can make a valid argument for why Keir Starmer, other than the fact that he got voted in. Right? He did get voted in. I don't disagree with that. He got voted in. Right? That was a fair achievement. He got voted in. He came up against a party that had been in power for 14 years. They had had mistake after mistake after drama after drama after mistake after COVID after mistake after COVID after mistake after drama. They had had a lot of runs on the board for reasons why we should have voted him out. And Sir Keir Starmer was in charge of the opposition at the time when the opportunity arose where we could vote that side out. And were there any other options? Well, there's the Greens, but the Greens were basically, they weren't pandering to the Muslim vote then, so they were nowhere. There wasn't any other party. So yes, democratically, he did get voted in. If I go for a job interview, and my job, and I'm going for a job where there's someone doing that job at the moment, and that job is to wash plates. But every time they pick up a plate, they drop it, and it breaks. There's a fair chance that if I get selected through the job interviewing process, there's a fair chance that I'm going to be given the chance to wash plates. Because I tell you what, the person that's currently doing it is dropping every second plate. So then you look at the job interviewing process. Okay, how many applicants are there? Are there 100 applicants? What are we doing? Are we doing like 2 or 3 interviews? Are we getting 100 applicants? Are we filtering it down to like 50 applicants? Are we, are we getting them to wash some plates so that we can see what their style is? Are we doing anything like that? No, there's one applicant. It's me. That's it. No one else. There's no one else to choose from. Do you want to wash some plates? See if we can. No. You've got to make your choice now. Do you want me to? I'm telling you, I can wash plates. You've got one opportunity here to replace the person that drops all the plates, and that's what's bloody happened. So you can tell me, he was democratically voted in all you want. He's fucking shit, mate. He's shit. The words that spewed out of his mouth seemed like they had gone through 4 or 5 different proofreaders, a legal team, some sort of consultancy. He just seems so disingenuous. And look, I get it. It's a difficult position to be in if you are the PM of this country at the moment, where you've only got 60-odd thousand troops. How do you put all your eggs into one basket and go into war? Well, I mean, look, I think you go the other way that we've decided to go, off the sheer fact that of America's might, and whether we're dedicating all of our troops or anything like that. I think the sheer, we're not going to war with bloody Switzerland. We're not backing them up. We're not backing up, Malta. We're backing up our oldest and dearest friends, America. And what, to even try to raise a veil of some sort of illegality, or, that it's wrong to have done what Trump's done. I mean, what is the reality of the situation? The reality of the situation is that for years, for decades, that government, that corrupt government, has been in charge of that country. And they've siphoned money, and they funded out terrorist organizations. And they've done so for years. And in the recent past, anyone in that community who stood up or who's protested, they've slaughtered. They've hung them in the streets. We know that for a fact. And so, to say that this was either unprovoked or this was this was unnecessary or anything like that, you can't do that. You've got to look at the reality of the situation. Whether you agree with this or don't agree with this, the fact is there was a regime in charge of a country of people, and they were slaughtering and killing that people. So you can't have it both ways. You can't have it that, we say, oh, this was a genocide, that's a genocide, but then when we've got factual information about another situation happening, that we don't do anything about it. So anyway, I don't know, listen, that's what I think. I think to Keir Starmer, and I use this very, very... I don't really care about that. I just think that he's hopeless. I think that as a Prime Minister, he's absolutely dreadful. I think it's an embarrassment. I'm embarrassed to... I mean, look, I'm obviously not British. I'm not British. I'm Australian, but I've lived over here for nearly 20 years now, and I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed to be here. Why don't you go back home? Roger? Why don't you go and do that? Well, I can't do that because I've set up a family here now. So, it's just embarrassing. It's embarrassing to be in this country at the moment, just the way it's being run. And that's the way I feel. And look, prove me wrong. If you want to prove me wrong, prove me wrong. Tell me about all the wonderful things that are going on. Tell me about the wonderful Prime Minister that's showing great leadership skills at the moment. Tell me about all that, because I'd love to hear it. So make sure you subscribe. Make sure you get your comments down below. Tell me whether I'm right, whether I'm wrong, whether you agree with me or don't agree with me. That's my opinion. You're welcome to your opinion. This is Roger Roadside saying thank you, Mum, for the rabbits, and I'll see you next time. This is Roger Roadside saying goodbye. Goodbye!